And I told her I don't care if he is her husband. Right now,
It's time to rise from the grave, pour yourself a cup, and enjoy the coffee crypt.
Voices from the Mausoleum is brought to you by the You Run Podcast Network and yourunpodcast.com. And a very special thank you to our Patreon subscribers. Be sure to check out the Paranormal Misfits podcast, your favorite besties fearlessly exploring the paranormal, uncovering enigmatic mysteries, unraveling mind-bending conspiracies, and sharing thoughts on horror. Prepare to be spellbound. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Good morning, and welcome to a special episode of the Coffee Crypt, a coffee break. Joining me today, our regular coffee break co-host, Norin.
Thank you so much, Steve. Thank you very much. Very happy to be here and ready to start this new kind of regular series. I'm excited. We got some cool topics today.
Yeah. So, if you caught, I believe it was one of our episodes in December. Or even again, I think you've done a couple of episodes of the Coffee Crypt already.
Yeah,
right.
I think I've been on twice. I think so far of the Coffee Crypt. Yeah,
I think you did a December episode because I think Angel takes a break in December, and then when Angel was recovering, I believe you also covered and did an episode as well. So Norin is no stranger to the Coffee Crypt. So yeah, but for the coffee break, we're doing something a little different. I think I've done one or two of these. Maybe like last year, just throwing a quick one together. It's on our regular, hour-long episode, just covering a few topics, things that maybe we didn't get a chance to cover on the full-length episodes, or just things that happen or get announced in between episodes that we really want to cover and dive into, things that are maybe particularly trending at the time. Whatever it is. But yeah, so you never know what you're going to get. We have 4 fun, cool stories to cover today. Let's dive on in. So it was announced that Sony now has the rights, the film and TV rights for Clue. So it looks like we might be getting additional Clue content, whether it's in theaters or on TV. I'm a big fan of the original Clue movie with Tim Curry.
so good.
It is a fantastic movie. It is so funny. Are you a fan of the original?
Oh yeah, that's one of those movies that I even remember having. I don't have it anymore, but I used to have the DVD release, and it had the version so you can pick the endings. And there's multiple endings to this movie, which is a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
So that was kind of unheard of. They don't really do that anymore nowadays. They used to do that back in the day, but not too much nowadays, where they shoot multiple endings for movies. And Tim Curry is just an absolute blast. I would say this is the movie that he I mean, of course he's great as Pennywise, and he's great in Home Alone 2 and all that stuff, but I think this is the movie Clue where he commands the screen the most.
Shout out to Rocky Horror.
Rocky Horror Picture. That is true. Yeah, that's another great one too. It's just he's so bombastic in this one. I love him.
Yeah.
He is very much loving this character. You can tell when he's in the movie.
Oh man, yeah. He's fantastic. I also think of Nigel Thornberry, but that's just I don't think his best role, but I always just think of that character too. But no, but Clue's a blast. This idea of multiple endings. I wonder if they're gonna run with that. That's sort of one of the things. One, it's hard to capture, I think, the magic of the original movie. But it would be cool if they did incorporate elements of that idea of having multiple endings, right? Because different theaters had different endings.
Yep.
So you went to the movies, you might not have gotten the same ending as your friend who went to a different theater at a different time, and right.
Yeah, it makes it so much more exciting. Just the sound of that, doesn't it?
Yeah, what ending did you get? That's so cool. And it sort of also has people maybe wanting to go multiple times to the theater, right? It's such a fun gimmick. I don't know if it would work today. But maybe.
Yeah, they can give it a shot. I think this one would work well as a TV show. I think so. A TV series with some crazy good campy actors And if you do a TV show, you could possibly do the multiple endings or multiple variations of the story and just bring the characters back and the actors maybe switch it up a little bit, you know?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of I know Netflix did a few things like this where there were interactive storytelling, right?
Hmm.
Where you at home, like you can make a decision for the character and there'd be like a different scene based on what you picked. I remember
Yeah.
Black Mirror did an episode like that. A handful of children's shows did it. Kimmy Schmidt did it on Netflix. Like there's a lot. So if Sony does this as a TV movie or a series, right, you can kind of do that. Um, a little more recently, I was even thinking Netflix. I think it was Netflix had a show called Kaleidoscope. Did you see that one?
Okay. I didn't see that one. No.
So that was a cool one. It wasn't a different ending. It was the episodes came out, and you could watch them in any order.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
It,
So you could kind of create your own, like you said, pick your own path.
yeah, because every episode sort of revealed different. It was a lot of time jumping. It was a heist, like a heist story. So one episode might have been like 10 years before the heist. One episode was a year after the heist. One was the heist. One was the day after, the day before, right? And it all sort of, it was just
Nice.
sort of delivered to you out of order. And I think on your homepage too, like if you logged into your Netflix, you got a different order. So you could just go whatever they give you, which was sort of randomly generated, or you can go look up and
Nice.
look at the chronological order.
Yeah, the chronological. Yeah.
It was whatever you wanted to do. But yeah, no, I think there's a lot of cool opportunities for this one. What would you do? You have any particular hopes or like expectations or things that you would want to see them do, not do?
I hope it's still very just campy and silly. Like I really don't hope I hope they don't try to modernize it too much or make it like scary or anything. Like I really hope it's
Mhm.
just very much a campy, very 90s thing how it was back then, you know. The tone
Yeah,
that they carried with that first movie.
yeah, very a classic Who Done It would be really fun, almost just like an
Yeah.
Agatha Christie parody, right?
Hmm.
References to the board game, have all those characters. But yeah, no, I'd be very curious where they actually go with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
I
I
mean,
think it would be fun. Definitely make it goofy, keep that humor.
yeah, for sure. We need it.
Yeah, almost like it was sort of almost like I mean, it wasn't that campy, but I was thinking like Knives Out, right? It's sort of like a fun who done it,
Yeah.
you know. But all right, our
Now
next
our next
story
topic, huh?
was that.
Next topic now, yeah, right.
Oh yeah. So announced that Post Malone of all people, who actually I found out that he's actually I guess a pretty big nerd
Yeah.
in general. And yeah, he's a very just creative guy in general. He Post Malone has teamed up with Platinum Dunes to create a sort of multimedia story situation. It's going to be a comic first with a film adaptation later. Tonally, it's supposed to be Mad Max Fury Road meets The Evil Dead, which sounds really cool.
Yeah, just the concept, yeah, in itself sounds like something that any producer would just be eager to be like, "Oh, here's money. Show me what."
Yeah, that's such a cool concept. Well, are you did you watch the TV show at all?
Oh no,
So there is a well, you want me to spoil? I don't want to spoil too much for you.
just a little bit. You can, yeah.
So there's a little hint at something at the end of the show ends on a cliffhanger, um, where tonally has very much this vibe
Okay.
of like it kind of could be a little Mad Maxy. Um,
Nice.
so I was like, so I'm wondering if that was sort of maybe an inspiration. I'm surprised. I mean, I know there's a new Evil Dead movie coming out, but the movies have, with Evil Dead Rise and this new one, I don't know. I don't think they announced the plot for it yet, but I don't think they're at all connected to Ash. They haven't been, especially Rise and this other one. I don't think they're going to go back to Ash's story. Yeah, but this concept of this like post-apocalyptic world with the Evil Dead, it's sort of, I don't know, it feels like sort of a natural fit. I'm a little bummed that it's not going to actually be an Evil Dead movie.
Yeah, you're like, oh, just make it that. But I think it's fun that we have Platinum Dunes coming in because a lot of people that was like in the heyday of the 2000s, early 2000s, and like 2010, it was all
Mhm.
Platinum Dunes. Like they were putting out tons of horror content. Like they were basically the Blumhouse of the early 2000s, is
That's
like how it
exactly what I
was.
was going to say. They were the Blumhouse of 2005 or whatever to like 2010 or whatever. It was
Yeah.
that decade. It was all the remakes, right, that they did, because they did Friday
Texas
remake.
Chainsaw Massacre, Friday the 13th. I think they did Last House on the Left as well.
Mhm. Were they the Freddy remake too, or no? That wasn't Platinum Dunes?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not too positive on that one. I don't think that was them. I
I
think
don't
that
think
was
it was
somebody else.
probably not them either. But they had a good chunk of them.
Yeah, they did a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, but I love that this is going to be a comic first, with a film adaptation. And I'm wondering, I don't know how in depth they're going to go in terms of like, is it going to sort of, are the comics going to continue well beyond what the movie adapts? Are they going to sort of tell concurrent stories? Are they going to sort of weave in and tell different parts of the world? A lot of possibility.
A lot of world building possibilities, definitely, for sure. And like for keeping just media alive in general, like letting people know that there's other stuff out there besides just movies. There's comics, there's books. I like
Mhm.
how they're involving all that other aspects of media.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we were just interviewing Jake Robinson, who did Children of the Woods. The film's not out yet, but we got a screener, and he was
Nice.
his big thing was they did like a video game to advertise the movie, like a little
Cool.
sort of like low budge, sort of introductory Easter egg heavy video game thing. Free, it's on Steam, and actually, I don't know, it may not be free. It might have been. I don't remember. If anything, it wasn't much. And then also a lot of I love when things have ARGs, so augmented reality games.
Okay.
Not ARG as in like VR AR, but more of like little Easter eggs that you can go and solve yourself outside of the thing that it
Nice.
is.
Yeah.
It's like little puzzles that you can kind of put together. I love stuff that incorporates that as well.
Yeah. It
But
makes your brain think a little bit more, makes you work a little bit more for the two stuff.
yeah, well, an example of that too. I just caught up on the show Evil on Paramount Plus, and when the first season was airing, they would flash puzzle pieces in random points of the episode, and then you would have to go put them together and figure out the puzzle yourself.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I love when they do like stuff like that. Or Cloverfield had really cool marketing and things like that.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Not to say that Post Malone needs to do that. Just
Yeah, like so from what I hear, Michael Bay was talking him up, saying that Post Malone is very creative and he's had this idea and knows what he wants to do with it. So it
yeah,
sounds like it's going to be very promising.
yeah. I know, I'm excited. Yeah. So our next story is we'll skip our box office story because I kind of want to stay
Yeah,
in this whole
we can kind of.
expanded media trend.
That
Because
makes
very
sense.
similarly, for those that don't know, we had an announcement for the Jason universe.
Oh yeah, this was right up my alley. That's why I wanted to talk about this one.
Yeah, so this is a expanded media initiative, where Friday the 13th content going in the multimedia route of comics, gaming, books.
They even said interactive experiences. So I don't know what that means in terms of like there's going to be places where we can visit and we can interact with like story or just go to sets and they design things. It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, yeah. What were some of maybe the highlights that got you really excited from the news article?
My two main highlights were that Horror Inc. Incorporated and Victor Miller were the two bringing this to life. So Victor Miller, if people don't know, he's the writer from the very first Friday the 13th film, and he has the rights to certain aspects of the movie and stuff like that. And Horror Inc. are the first people who were producing Friday the 13th at that time. So this is coming from the origins, real like back in the day, the people who brought this to life. So the only thing for sure I know we're not getting from this article is they said we're not getting a new movie. So letting people know that this is going to be other, like you said, other aspects of media, comics, books, maybe like I said, a thing, horror themed night. Maybe they're going to do a Friday the 13th horror theme night where we can go experience Friday the 13th part 3 and 4 and all kinds of stuff like that. So there's a lot
Yeah.
of promising stuff that I took from this article.
Yeah, it'd be really cool to sort of, I love escape rooms, and I think it'd be really cool to have like a Friday the 13th themed escape room that you can go
Definitely.
and try to, maybe you're locked in a cabin, and the timer, you have an hour before Jason gets in or something, and so it's all Jason themed puzzles and things you have to do. Like that'd be really cool. Or I think you mentioned like Hollywood Horror Night stuff, right? Going in just
Yeah.
a Jason haunted house kind of thing.
Yeah, that's something we need. Like for real, this is so cool because as Friday the 13th fans and just horror fans in general, we've been kind of missing Jason. Like it's been a good chunk of years, 15 years since we've gotten any kind of new content besides, fan films, which are really good. There's some really good fan films out there that I recommend too. But this is just a new era of Jason that we're going to be really excited for.
Yeah, when I first saw this, I had sort of kind of misinterpreted the news, and I think I was very dismissive of it, in the sense of like it almost made me think of the Dark Universe.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I was like, are we promising more than we can handle? Like what is this, right?
Yeah.
And I think that was more of me not reading carefully. I was very like, ugh, what are they doing? But there really, it's about like keeping the brand alive, expanding in other ways, that we can enjoy these stories beyond just movies, right? Because it's very hard, when a franchise takes a long break, right? If it's something that you really love, and we haven't had Jason on the big screen since 2009,
I know.
which
It
is a
hurts to
long
hear
time.
that.
Which is, I mean, especially in this day and age where things get pumped out pretty quickly. I mean, granted, the property was in legal limbo, so that was a special case. But even like I'm thinking Nightmare on Elm Street too. The last time we had Freddy on the big screen was 2010. The only one that really has had a lot of love was Michael, and I guess
Space has
Chucky
been
on
bad.
TV, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, those the two other horror titans have sort of been sitting pretty on the sidelines.
Yeah, that's why I want the big three back. So it'd be good now that if, we have Michael, we've gotten recent Michael content. We got the news of the Halloween TV show that they're making. This Jason universe thing, like I said, all we're waiting for now is some cool Nightmare on Elm Street news, which we do have a little bit. We got 4Ks coming out this year. So hopefully that maybe gets the spark going for some more Nightmare on Elm Street content as well.
Yeah, I have all my 4Ks of Halloween. I'm gonna need my 4Ks of Nightmare. Not as big as Jason person, even though I do have a Jason pop. I don't know if they have Freddy pops actually. I'm sure they do.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Freddy's. I'm a little more of a Freddy fan than a J. I would love an expanded Freddyverse actually, because you could do a lot of stuff. I think, given all the different dreamscapes, and there's a lot of things you can do in the Freddy's world.
Oh yeah,
Jason, I always wonder, right? Because Jason's pretty like a monolithic character, right? There's not a lot tangentially that you can explore. So that's my only other concern with some of the other like Jason comics and stuff like that, is that we're just going to get a lot of him, and it's hard to like, his story is very simple, so it's going to be a big challenge. I'm not going to say they can't do it. I'm sure they're going to put a lot of effort into it, especially if you have original creators involved. But to really like dive in and explore. I mean, I know we're getting the A24 show, which there was a little bit of a scare that we weren't, but now
they just lost the showrunner. Yeah, they just lost the showrunner. As far as I know, they're changing the main writer. That's all. But the show is still happening.
Right. Which those little, those hiccups happen.
Yeah.
But I'll be curious. So Yeah, but I definitely do want a Freddy verse too. Not to take the magic away from Jason. I know you're excited, but I
Oh
do.
no, that would be a lot of fun. That would be a lot of fun for real. A Freddy game would be completely amazing. You can get really
Yeah,
creative with a Freddy game.
I mean, just dream logic alone can make it so trippy and fun and scary, and like you can because it's a dream, so you could very easily fight back, and you could have. I'm almost thinking like Dream Warriors. You could have powers. You could fight Freddy back, and do crazy things. And I could almost see like the story I would pitch would be like maybe you're a new kid moving into,
Springwood.
Springwood,
Was
right?
Springfield? Yeah, Springwood, yeah.
Springfield isn't that Simpsons?
Springfield Simpsons, yeah.
The Springwood slasher. You're moving into Springwood, maybe moving on Elm Street. Slowly you start to have nightmares. Maybe then you discover that you can fight back, and it sort of becomes this whole thing. It could be really cool.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, a game in Crystal Lake, a game where you can actually like a not first person, but single player game with Jason could be amazing. I'm also like really tired of like the horror games where it's all what do they call them? Not not asynchronistic, or non-linear. What do they call it? But anyway, like Dead by Daylight,
Okay.
or the Friday 13th game, or the Texas Chainsaw game, where it's like everyone versus another person who's playing the villain, or
Okay. More of like a stalk and kill type, hide and seek type.
well, it's like you have people playing the villains, you have people playing the survivors, and you verse each other, right? Like, and that's sort of the format that they've been using for all of these horror. Evil Dead did it. Like, it's the same format, and it's like I don't want to just do these multiplayer games. Like, I want sort of like a Resident Evil kind of like or Silent Hill, like single player, have a good story, play through
Yeah,
it.
more thematic and more personal.
Yeah, like story driven, not just mash them up, winner at the end kind of thing.
Yeah. I think it's just because multiplayer is very big right now. It's just a very big thing right now with Fortnite and all this stuff. Like it's a huge part of gaming.
I know that's the trend, but the thing is, for these horror titles, it's not really sustainable, right? Because the Friday the
Yeah,
13th game got pulled.
that's right. Yeah.
I mean, they
Texas
don't.
Chainsaw Massacre was popular for like a month or two, and then everybody kind of stopped playing it.
Yeah, because they're not Fortnite. It's not like what the 14-year-olds are flocking to.
Yeah.
It's what us, 30, 40, 50-year-olds are going to. We're not, we're not as we're not putting in 12 hours of gameplay like these kids are, right? I sound like such an old man. I hate that. Ugh,
You're dating us, Steve. You're dating us. No, it's
I
true.
know. I know. But anyway, yeah, no, I just want like a good single player. I could play it over and again, over and over again, or even something like Until Dawn would be really cool, like story-driven, decision-based kind of horror game
Nice.
would be
Yeah,
really cool.
that would be cool. Like
Yeah,
that's why I liked Mass Effect a lot, is because you were able to pick your own and change the ending depending on how you played it. Affected the
yeah,
ending too and stuff like that.
absolutely. Um, is that Bethesda?
Hmm.
No, Bethesda wasn't Mass Effect. Bethesda's
Mass
like
Effect. I played the first two, but yeah, Bethesda. I don't think so.
Bethesda's like Starfield and
Yeah,
like Fallout, right? Okay.
Fallout. Yeah, that was. I haven't played that one, but I've heard very good things. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't get into it. I mean,
Oh,
like the show's good.
yeah, the show is good. Yeah.
Stories are good, but the game itself I couldn't get myself into. But all right. Want to move on to our fourth and final story?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So, womp womp. Strangers Chapter 1 is not doing too great.
Yeah.
So currently sitting at 15% on Rotten Tomatoes, with 68 reviews. So not a lot of reviews, but that's enough to say like 15% is not great.
Yeah. Yeah.
A little bit higher, but not great either. 44% for audience. So not wonderful. So the general consensus, do I have sometimes they usually give you a little synopsis of the reviews, right? Oh yeah. So the critic consensus is lacking the chilling suspense of the original Strangers and proving to be just unpleasant. This chapter 1 closes the book on itself.
Oh
that's,
wow,
that's a
damn.
brutal. That's a brutal review. And then, but box office ain't that great either, unfortunately. So on the opening weekend, I believe this is just domestic. I don't think
Okay,
we have the numbers on international. Domestic's just 11 million, just under 12.
okay.
What was the budget on this thing?
Probably
Um,
like 15.
well, yeah, I mean, probably not a high budget. I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to make its budget back for sure. But it's much more than that, right? I mean, to really be a success, I think you need like double that, right?
Oh yeah, usually typically, yeah, if you want your return and even more. Because
Mhm.
this is something that they did greenlit 3 movies and they let us know this. This was a couple years ago, right? That they told us that they were coming out with all 3 of these movies and that they had them planned. They were writing them all.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is not a great reception for this. I'm going to see this movie tonight. So me and Steve are kind of coming at this from just a different outside view right
Mhm.
now until we see the movie. But for my thoughts and why I think it's not really taking that well with people is that I didn't really think we even needed another Strangers property. Like I really think the first 2
Mhm.
that we got is just we lived in that perfect world. We had The Strangers and then we had Pray at Night, which are both very solid films in my opinion. And
Yeah.
then when they announced that Strangers Chapter 1 was coming out and that our director was Rennie Harlan, I knew for a fact that was going to be not a good thing because when we talk about Rennie, he did Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, Dream Master. He did Die Hard 2. He did Cliffhanger. He did Deep Blue Sea. So these are all very action oriented and very style over substance movies. And
Yeah.
that's completely opposite of The Strangers. Like he's the last person I would have ever thought to ask to do a Strangers movie.
Yeah. It's a good point. Yeah, just stylistically very odd. I mean, the concept of building out some deeper lore around the story,
Yeah.
does that break the mystique of like what makes the Strangers special to begin with?
I kind of think it does, don't you? I mean, I feel that way a little bit because I didn't watching the first 2 movies. I never felt like I needed to know anything about the antagonist characters. Like I didn't really want to know anything about them. How did you feel?
Yeah, I tend to agree. Like, yeah, like you said though, like, neither of us have seen this just yet. So we're really just kind of on an objective,
Yeah,
point of like, less is more with most horror. When you try to explain too much, it becomes less scary. You run the risk of being a little too silly or coming off. The more you explain, the more you ask your audience to accept, and then you're sort of running suspension of disbelief into the ground, right? Um, it's just not that it can't be done, right? So, I mean, on synopsis alone, right? It's talking about their car breaking down in like an eerie small town. I mean, I got this from the trailer of like there's a little bit more to this neighborhood.
yeah.
So it could be kind of cool, but it doesn't seem. But the thing is, what I've heard in reviews, right, is that this feels like a beat for beat the first movie.
Okay. So that's
Right.
what you hear. Yeah, that's see, I heard from a lot of people that they said to me I was just lacking a lot of atmosphere, a lot of the stuff that made the first 2 so good. It was that
Mhm.
kind of chilling atmosphere, like almost nothing's really happening, but you feel like something's going to happen and you're still invested in it. And
Yeah.
that I think that's going to be hard to tap into, especially with the third movie. Like they already did it twice. To do that with a third film, you're like that's kind of hard to do.
Yeah, and it's funny. I remember seeing interviews with actors saying like, you had to do the story that they wanted to do. You kind of had to go back to the original, but I don't even know if I agree with that. I don't think you really had to go back to the original. So the problem with doing a remake to launch this new story is like, I don't even think you really needed to do that, right? Like go back and retell because you've sort of bored people if you're doing a shot for shot remake or nothing that really adds much different. Like probably what they should have done is what the Friday the 13th remake did was at the first 15 20 minutes is you tell The Strangers, and
Yeah.
then the next hour you tell your new story.
That would have been kind of cool. Yeah. See, there's elements to this, like you said, where it could have worked and they could have got a little bit creative with it and did something else. But like I said, was still room to feel it out. Like I said, I'm gonna see it tonight, so I'll see what my actual feelings will be on it, and then I'll let you know, of course, too. And Steve's gonna check it out too, of course. You know, Steve's got
Yeah.
to.
Maybe we'll have to do a quick little film review on the channel or something. Or if you do it on your channel, I'd be more than happy to come on and talk with you about it.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun. We definitely have to, because yeah, this
Yeah.
is an important topic for us. Because like The Strangers was a big thing. A lot of people don't realize like when that first movie came out, it kind of really revitalized the home invasion genre. Was kind of just like nowhere
Yeah.
for a while, and then it kind of brought it back to life.
So I didn't get to see the original Strangers in theaters, but I was still like within the year that it had come out. I guess it was whenever
Mhm.
the DVD first came out.
Yeah.
I watched it in my base. I was still living with my parents. It was in high school. I was watching it in the basement in the dark. Worst decision.
Oh
Worst.
snap!
It is a really scary movie. It is
Yeah.
really tense.
Yeah, it's got like it's just that movie. Like, there's certain directors and certain movies they just find a way to like teeter on that tension, and they
Mhm.
play with you the whole movie. And Strangers is one of those movies. And then I like Pray at Night too because it still has that feel to it, but it's almost a campy '80s slasher, but in a very
Yeah.
good way.
It's more upbeat. It's fun.
Yeah,
I love that pool scene with
so good.
the music and the lights and it is so well done. Um, yeah, no, Pray at Night is definitely underrated. I love Christina Hendricks. She's the mom in that
She's
one.
great. I know she's lovely. She's a great actress for real.
Yeah, yeah. So seeing her in a horror movie was really cool. Yeah, I think I think you could have almost done like just pick up maybe where the first one left. You could have done a requel. You could have just sort of picked up where the first one left off and went from there, right? I mean, I
Yeah,
don't know. But this is also again another example. We talked about going back to the Jason universe of like, is this also an example of biting? Well, what I thought that the article was saying is something
yeah,
not ones that it ended up being. Is this an example of biting off more than they could chew? Is this another Exorcist believer situation?
yeah. We're gonna find out. It's scary because it's like I wish people would just more naturally go into the trilogy thing and just kind of let it naturally happen. Not
Yeah.
like just tell us right away or promise us, or even if you have the other two movies in the bag, just wait to let us know. Let the reception from the first one happen first and then be like, yo, surprise. We have two more coming down the line for you. You know what I mean? Be ready.
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine if in 1977 George Lucas was like Star Wars, the first of a big trilogy, and everyone would be like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Yeah, it'd be like, they wouldn't understand it. Yeah, just wouldn't have clicked how it would have. You gotta sometimes just let the audience, us, without forcing it on us. You have to let us accept it. You know what I mean, and pull it into pop culture.
Yeah, care about the story you're telling at the time. Don't tell for the next thing, right?
Yeah,
Um, I mean, that's a big complaint for comic book movies. As much as I love them, people complain about it, right? But I think I still enjoy my MCU. But it's like it doesn't. Yeah, how pessimistic is it to be like the only thing that gets you excited about seeing a movie is what's next? You're not present. You're not enjoying
yeah,
it. You're just thinking about what's after, right?
yeah.
So
We like to live in the now. We want more people, just in general, of this whole youth and generation, live in the now.
yeah, kids these days. Every generation says that. I mean, yeah. We can all get like that. I think we all just have to sort of enjoy and again, I'm going to see this movie. You and I are both going to see it. Give it a shot. There might be things
Yeah,
that we end up liking about it. I mean, I had seen some reactions where people were like, "Yeah, reviews are way too hard." And I know I reported on the Rotten Tomatoes score, but even Rotten Tomatoes in general, it's not like a direct one-to-one sort of thing. I think with the reviews, it's either positive or negative. It's not really like on a sliding scale,
yeah,
right? So like an A I think is like as much as a B, which is as much as a C. It's not until you get into like a D or maybe a C. I don't know. Like things get clumped. It's not like a
Yeah.
direct
Yeah, it's not a direct correlation to actually how we feel or how good the movie really is. Because there's some movies on Rotten Tomatoes that have super low scores, and they're some of the greatest movies that have ever touched this planet Earth.
I would agree. I would agree. And there's some very high rated movies where I'm like, this is not my thing.
Yeah,
But it's like art. Art is subjective, guys.
that's
Enjoy
true.
what you like. What else was I gonna say? Oh, I didn't put it on the script. We got a new poster for Maxine. Did you catch that? That just came out.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I shared on X. I saw that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's just sort of her, facing the poster from behind, very similar to like Pearl poster with her in the farmland. Very similar singular characters for the X posters. So yeah, very thematically, sort of very nice. So the three posters look very good together.
Yeah, this is a key example of right here. This is a key example of a trilogy done right. Let's just let people know that right now. Like Ty West, if anybody wants to take notes on Ty West because that's how you actually do a trilogy.
Yeah, and it's not even out yet. I'm already praising it, but I'm like, that's just
Yep.
how good X and Pearl are. I'm just like, I trust them.
He would have to severely drop the ball for us to not like this movie.
I know, and so we covered it briefly in an episode when the trailer first dropped, but I am so excited. I mean, we already had I was reading. I don't think it was just announced the release date because we already sort of knew it. I follow the Twitter account Horror Calendar or something, and they just tweeted, I guess, a reminder that it's coming out July 5th. I'm like, so they have,
Yep.
A24 and like the whole it's the studio has a lot of faith in this movie. They're putting this out July 4th weekend, that's a big weekend for movies.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. Like this is gonna be a banger because I think horror fans are gonna turn out in droves for this movie for real.
I mean, yeah, they have a real chance to stick the landing. Again, be the best trilogy ever, one of the best trilogies ever. Well, I mean, you think about it. People, I mean, look at the big trilogies, right? Godfather, people usually crap on the third one. Star Wars, you have naysayers for the Jedi Returns, Return of the Jedi, right?
Yeah.
So there's really not a lot of perfect trilogies.
Oh yeah, most people would just go to like Lord of the Rings. That would probably be like
you're right. There's Lord of the Rings
yeah,
trilogy, probably,
or like Back to the Future. Because even Back to the Future, like I have fun with all three. Even the third film, I love the third film too.
yeah. But I've heard naysayers on that one too. I'm trying to think what other ones.
Fear Street was really good. The Fear Street trilogy was
one. That's a
really great.
They stuck. I think they stuck the landing with that one.
Definitely.
I guess it's a subjective thing too, right? We're talking about best worst trilogies. I guess it's all subjective, But trying to what other big trilogies are there? I'm trying. Things tend to get ruined because the fourth one eventually comes. Like I'm thinking Scream, right? But then the fourth one eventually comes out, right?
Yeah.
Star Wars is a collection of trilogies, so I guess that kind of never got ruined by a fourth one, right? Because you can sort of pocket each of the three into their own little, structure. I don't know, but we'll see. I am so pumped. I have I think I watched that trailer like a million times that week.
I've seen both the first two movies a lot. I have an X poster in my house, and I got both the first two movies. So yeah, I'm gonna be binging them again once Maxine comes out.
Yeah. I kind of want to replace some of the posters we have in our little. You can't really see it. I never revealed it. This is the first reveal on the Coffee Crypt. Here. I'm gonna just move the camera ever so slightly. Oh wait, you actually can't even see it. Hold on, let me
Like get the lights popping.
Yeah, hold on. Smart lights.
I recently got a bunch of Godzilla posters. Those are my most recent ones, and then this Gremlin one that I've had for a while. It's just I just got a frame for it again because my frame broke, so I have to hang it up again.
Yeah. Let's see it. Alexa, change downstairs lights to 100%. Of course. The one time I want to do something cool on this channel, and like Alexa's like, go to hell. No, never mind. Anyway, technology.
Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse.
Well, makes me look like an idiot.
Just don't even. Don't even.
But anyway, those are our stories for this coffee break.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for joining us, Norin. I'm looking forward to more coffee breaks with you.
Oh, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm sure there's going to be some awesome topics because, like I said, horror in general is popping right now. So there's going to be a lot of fun topics and even some maybe non-horror topics that we bring up. You never know.
Oh, yeah. So anything that you want to sort of plug for your channel, anything coming up?
Sure, definitely. So I've been basically going through the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. So that's a big thing right now. A lot of those videos are popping off. I'm going to be doing part 5 is the next video. Dream Master just dropped recently. So, and then what else do I got planned? I got some physical media to go through. And then once the Nightmare on Elm Street reviews are done, there's going to be a ranking video, of course. So we'll be talking a lot of Freddy over the next few weeks.
Oh, yeah. And for, I've plugged it on this show, but I'll bring it up again. Both of us have been doing Courage the Cowardly Dog recap discussions. We finished season 1 the other week. We just recorded the first episode for season 2, which will be coming out this week, I think.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun. Yeah, this Wednesday, yeah, or this coming week. Yep.
Yeah. Well, depending on when this episode comes out.
Yeah, it depends on when this. It might have already came out if this was after.
If it's already out by the time this episode comes out, I will put the link below for that, and I'll put the link for Norin's channel and everything. You can follow him down there. But he's going to be a regular face, so get used to it.
Yeah.
All right, everyone.
Gotta make sure I keep my face all nice. Keep the blemishes off my face.
Keep it fresh. And thank you, everyone, for checking us out. Be sure to have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and we will catch you next week. Bye now.
Peace out.